welcome to Dark Ride Review. I am your host, Matthew, also known as Guy with the Cool Hair. So you may ask why we are starting this channel. Well, just like you, I love dark rides. I love to experience them. There's many types of dark rides I've been on throughout my life, and I'm sure you guys have too. So I will be having some guests on this channel. First of all, I'll have my wife on here. She'll be rating the rides with us and viewing them. And then we will have some guests on here, especially if we have any, in case we have any rating problems, we need a third opinion. Okay, so you guys are wondering, well, people who don't know, what is a dark ride? First of all, to be considered a dark ride, it must be inside a building in a controlled environment where you can have sets and lighting the way you want them to be. In this image, you will see that it has a track and multiple rooms it will drive through. In those rooms, there is lighting effects, animatronics, sometimes fog machines, and some rides may even have some ups and downs, dips and turns. So with that said, that's why we will be rating different types of dark rides we have been on. Whether it be a great dark ride, or I've been on some dark rides where there's just nothing but darkness. I don't think that's the point to a dark ride, although the darkness does play a factor in some of these rides. So I'll actually be going through a list of our rating system. First, number one will be the exterior. We'll be looking at the exterior, seeing if it, makes you even want to go on the ride. Is there animatronics outside, or is it just paintings? That kind of thing. Maybe they might have some fog machines or really cool lighting effects outside that will bring you in to want to get on this ride. Number two will be the vehicle or the tech of the vehicle. When I say the vehicle or the tech, what I mean by is you can have a vintage looking vehicle which is still just as neat as the tech. Some of these rides may spin, some of them may hang, some of them may even bounce around. It depends on the tech. I've also seen a few on some tracks, kind of similar to a roller coaster track, which is pretty interesting. So there. That is going to be number two, the ride vehicle. Okay, and number three will be accessibility, the line speed, and is it worth waiting in line for this ride? Which is kind of a lot of questions in there to know whether you should wait for this ride. That's why we do have this rating system to find that out. Alright, moving on to number four, we have my favorite, the animatronics. And you could say the paintings. A lot of these rides, they'll have animatronics, great animatronics in there. Sometimes it's even funny if they don't work. And then some of these rides, sadly to say, they're starting to use projection screens. Those don't really get me going, really. And then even the worst dark rides are the ones where it's just paint on the wall. Some artist goes in there and paints it and puts a scary face, and that's the ride. Alright, my favorite here would be the scare meter. The scare meter is cool because it's going to be a colored kind of system. So you're going to have, let me pull it up here. You're going to have green on the bottom being the least scary. Then of course we're going to move to yellow. Yellow being a little bit scary, but you could probably still take a little kid on there. Orange, now you're getting into the pretty scary there. Maybe not even taking a kid on there. So that'll be that, meter. And then of course red being the most scary, where even an adult would probably have a hard time going on this ride, or maybe definitely will get scared. And that will be fun. Of course, if we have any problems with that system, we will bring in a third party to help with rating. Okay, guys, we're moving on to number 6 here. Will be the length of the ride. Is the length long enough? Is it too short? Or maybe it could even be too long, which usually aren't the case with these rides. So that would be another question there. Whether the ride, the length of the ride is worth it. That also goes with the value of the ride. So moving on to number 7 will be, would you ride this ride again after getting off of it? Or would you even tell your friends about it? Let's say you're at a carnival and you went on a ride, and a dark ride, and you went home, you just like, would you tell your friends, if you go to this carnival, you got to go on this ride? So that'll be another rating, whether it's multiple rides or you want to tell everybody about it. All right, moving on to number 8 here. The technology of the ride. We kind of covered that a little bit with the vehicle tech. Also, the technology of the ride could be other things too. It could be, of course, using fog effects. Maybe might even have some water. I've seen water before dropping down. Also, the track. The track could be pretty cool and up to date with technology. Animatronics, that also goes with technology too. So that's what the technology part would be. Now we're moving on to 9. It is the location. So you can have a great ride, but if nobody's going because of the location, I guess no one's going to really know about it. So location is very key. Of course, you got Disneyland, which everybody knows where that is. They got their dark rides compared to Joe Smo Land over in Alabama. So a lot of people maybe not even know about it. So location is key, whether a ride gets a good review or not, honestly. Okay, and the last one will be the price and value of it. Is it worth it, the price, to get on this ride? Nowadays they have those wristbands. It was easier back in the day. You could just buy a couple tickets, and maybe it might be worth two tickets, 5 tickets, depends on the ride. So you might get on a dark ride and you just paid 5 tickets and it's nothing but a dark room. So that would tell us how good the value is of this ride. And that will be it. That would be the whole rating system. And we will end it with our rating system, and we will give you a final rating at the end of each video. Okay guys, I'm looking forward to going on this adventure with you with dark rides. We're gonna get these videos coming in as often as possible. I got a lot of videos we're gonna be going through. It's gonna take a little while to get everything going, and be sure to subscribe, like these videos, and share with your friends, please. Alright guys, I'm gonna leave you here with a little dark ride video, and we are out.
Undead. You are the outsiders, or you will come face to face with ghosts, ghouls, banshees, and other creatures that you are